Alright, folks, here's the thing. It has been a while since the last video. I want to thank you all for reading my books. It has been just mind-blowing, okay? Something else to say before we get into this episode, this chapter is, I have a gaming channel called Renowe Gaming. I've been streaming Ghost of Tsushima. So if you want to check that out, you can just look in the link up there or in the description below somewhere. I'll put it somewhere. Just go enjoy my playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima, okay? Now, today's episode is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, which is basically what really makes an animation great. Is it the story or the actual animation, okay? And to me, I have always been on the fence because I've always said animation is great, but a good story can also elevate poor animation. But after watching God of High School and Tower of God, I am firmly on the animation camp. I strongly believe that a great animation can elevate a mediocre story to GOAT levels of, just the best things you've ever seen. Okay, and what do I mean by this? We have had like 3 episodes of God of High School now, and we had about 12 episodes of Tower of God, right? Now, here's the thing. In the grand scheme of things, the story of Tower of God, after that I have read up to now, I'm still reading the webtoon. The story is, for me, it is far more complex, has more depth. It is it's a much better story than Tower of God. But if you were to ask me now, what anime am I most excited to watch? If they're airing at the same time, if I had to choose, I can only watch one. What anime would I be most excited to watch? It's with God of High School every single time. And the reason is quite simple. The animations are so good. And when I say animation is good, I don't mean like the characters look realistic or anything like that. What I mean is the life. There is life in the animation. There's another example I'll use is Gurren Lagann. Okay, Gurren Lagann is a great anime, one of the best ever. And apart from one episode which no one talks about, the animation in that show has a lot of life. The way the characters express themselves, the way they roll, the way they move, everything about these characters has life. It has something in them that makes you just glow when you're watching this show on the screen. Now, what unfortunately in Tower of God, they rely on a lot of still shots. Shots, I call these shots where basically only maybe the eyes or the mouth move, or they turn their heads. Very rigid animations, okay? I'm not saying it's poor because graphically it looks very good. Honestly, a lot of the frames are actually wallpaper worthy of in frames. But the thing is, in terms of watching it, feeling the flow of the fight scenes and all of that, they don't flow as well as God of High School. And I'm saying fight scenes. God of High School doesn't just rely on the fight scenes. The opening sequence of this show is basically Jin Mori running and cycling down the street. He dodges his grandma, jumps over a railing down into, and every single frame in that short sequence is packed full of movement. His arms are moving, his clothes are moving, his eyes, his mouth. He has this exaggerated movement. And that's one thing people don't understand. The power of animation is in the exaggerations, okay? That is the one thing that real life films can never match it, because real life, when you have a real life character and the mouth starts going, it looks weird, it looks off-putting, it doesn't flow well. But when you have an animated character doing that, going like crazy, and they're jumping and their arms are flailing all around, the clothes are moving in unrealistic angles, they're jumping with their bicycles over cars and everything like that, it looks so good in an animated environment. And when it can bring all of that to life, it just elevates animation to another way. And that, to me, I believe, is why Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba was so popular during its time. Because in terms of the story of Kimetsu no Yaiba, it's nothing great. A demon basically turns his sister into a vampire, and the 2 of them, or demon, whatever, and the 2 of them have to go and hunt down all the 12 these things, and then kill the main leader, Kuban. And once you kill the main leader, everything is okay. That kind of straightforward, easy plot, okay? It doesn't really explore a lot. It's a very straightforward, easy plot. But what took that anime to the next level was the animations, especially I think episode 13, the episode where the animation, where the anime really blew up. animation that episode took it to the next level. And that to me is just the power that comes with good animation, with great animation. Another example is Attack on Titan. Now, people will say Attack on Titan story is actually very deep and all of that. Yeah, all that is true. But believe me, if it wasn't for that first season where they blew wide open what it means to be an animation, okay? When you see how quick these people were moving, these soldiers were jumping from rooftops to rooftops, flying around, the camera panning with them, all this almost in one take, fluid movements, running around this Titan, slicing it, all of that. The fluidity in the movement, it was just so mind-blowing. We had never seen anything like it. Even in lots of movies these days, we don't get shots as clean and as smooth as that with those dope ass transitions. Okay, it was Attack on Titan just blew open the door for what people should expect from anime, and to me that is a power which only someone who understands that can pull off. Okay, if you understand the power in animation, then you can take almost any normal story and just blow it up. We see the same in Gintama. Okay, Gintama is mostly a comedy show. It's most of the scenes aren't really that highly animated, but then you have these serious episodes where you can tell the budget of the anime really goes to. And in this episode, the fight scenes are so dynamic. There's so much movement, so much in just one frame. There's so much packed in it, and you can't help but feel pumped. Okay, it's one of those things where when you add animation, it's just too good. And to me, that is, I think, the difference between animation and also manga, because I enjoy reading mangas a lot more. Let me not say a lot more than I enjoy reading anime, because to me, a good animation elevates a manga. Okay, but the problem is a lot of animations lack the soul. A lot of animes lack the soul required to really elevate the manga to the next level. Because when you're reading a manga, you're usually filling up the fight scenes in your head, because the author just has still frames here and there, and then you fill in the middle with your imagination. Okay, and that if you have a very good imagination, you can really make a scene look bombastic in your mind. Okay, but the thing is, when the anime comes out, when they add in the music and the movement and all of that, it usually elevates it. Usually. You also have bad examples where it just destroys the scene for you and makes you feel like throwing up watching it. An example of that, the infamous scene now from Nanatsu no Taizai. Everybody knows that scene where it's one of the greatest fights in the manga. They just butchered it in the anime. They had the same problem in One Punch Man, the second season. It's just, like I said, it's the difference between One Punch Man season 1 and season 2. It's the same writer, so the story beats are still the same. The difference is just the animation just brought it down. It just brings down the quality. And to me, I think that is it. Story is good. You need a good story. Yes, no doubt. You need a good story to really sell an anime. But in my opinion, if you have a very fluid, very expressive animation, it breaks the need for an excellent story. As long as you have a decent story, if your animation is up here, you're going places. Okay, you're going places. That when Sword Art Online broke out, okay, the story itself wasn't that great, but there were some very nice animations in there, especially when he was fighting some of the bigger bosses. There were some very sweet animations, and people just loved that. Okay, and that's what brought people into Sword Art Online. And to me, that is always the hallmark of most animes that really take off is their animations. Okay, when you have very good fluid animation, your story, people usually take your story to a higher level than it's supposed to be. And that is just it. Because if you ask me, Kimetsu no Yaiba, not really a great story. It's a good story, but not a great story. It's something we've seen a lot of times. I don't like that criticism. Something we've seen a lot of times. That's not a good criticism, but it's a basic run of the mill, go kill the bad guy and everything is solved kind of story. So that, in terms of depth of world building and all of that, it doesn't really hold weight when you add scenes like Attack on Titan, where the villain isn't so cut and dry. As the manga goes and the story goes, and begin to learn that so many other factions, so many things influencing the world. Things like Naruto the same way, although the ending of Naruto wasn't that good, but forget that. These are the things that make an animation really, really great. And that to me, that basically all I want to say is this: is you have to have a great animation to have a good story. That's it in a nutshell. I don't want to drag this on too much. Just take that as the takeaway from this particular video. So thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Helps the channel and blah blah blah. And also remember to go check out my Ghost of Tsushima series on my Runaway Gaming channel. Okay, and that's it. See y'all. Have a nice day. This is Ren signing out. Bye.